Hello, my name is Professor Wood, and the purpose of this video is to assist students in creating an APA citation. I've already formatted my document to fit APA guidelines, and I'm here on my reference page, and I'm going to begin my citations over on the left-hand margin as prescribed in the formatting guidebook. I always make a recommendation to students to use the Purdue Online Writing Lab. If you go to the Purdue Online Writing Lab, you will have access to APA, MLA, all sorts of citation formatting style guides. I'm here on the APA page. We're going to be creating a citation today for an electronic website first. So over on my reference list, I'm going to click Electronic Sources. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to find the instructions on how to create a citation for a newspaper article. Now, as I'm scrolling down, you'll notice that they have guidelines and instructions for all types of electronic sources. Again, I'm going to be using a newspaper article. So here's the information that I need for my citation. I need the author information, the date of publication in this format. Notice the comma there and the period afterwards, and then the parentheses. The title of the article will not be placed in quotations, and the title of the article will appear in just capital letters that include the first word of the title or any proper nouns, and then the title of the newspaper in italics followed by a period, and then the retrieval information. So to create a citation today, I'm going to refer to the English 101 course. Some sources were provided for Essay 1, so I'm here in that folder, and I'm going to utilize this second source. There's one sure way to fix the opioid crisis. So when I go to that source here, I'm going to take a look around and look for the information that I need. I see here's my author information. Here's the title of the page. Here's my date of publication. The title of the magazine is Newsweek. And just to check, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and look at the publisher information. If the publisher information is the same as the title of the magazine, I don't have to note it. And it is. It's Newsweek. So I do not have to make a special reference to the publication information. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tab over. I've actually already created a citation for this particular source, and you'll see it here. Notice that I have my author information transposed as needed. I have my date of publication in parentheses in the special format. I've got the title of my article, no special capitalization, no quotation marks, no italics, and I don't have to put anything after, Actually, I do when I go back to my source. When I go back to my APA source for electronic sources, I've got to put the title of the newspaper after the title of my article. I missed that. So I'm going to go here. The title of the newspaper is Newsweek, so I'm going to type that. Okay, and now I've got everything here for my citation that I need. But it's not actually finished formatting yet because I have to include the hanging indents. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight. I have two citations here, and I'm going to talk about the second one in a minute. I'm going to go up to my paragraph tab. I'm going to go to indentation, drop down menu, and go to hanging. And now my citations look the way they should. Now, a couple things I want to point out to you. First of all, I've already mentioned the dating format, and there's no use of quotation marks in APA, but italics, we do use them. Notice that there's no hyperlink here. If I were to actually click here and create a hyperlink, that's not APA formatting style. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to actually remove that. So your works cited page should look like this. Now, your works cited page should be in alphabetical order by the author's last name or the first word of the citation. Notice that this is not in alphabetical order. So I can actually highlight this, go up here to my alphabetical sort, and it'll actually switch them for me. Now, the reason I have this citation here is I wanted to draw your attention to what you do when you actually have a journal article that does not have an author. So let's go back over to my APA guide. I'm going to scroll up. Okay, and I can create a citation for an online periodical or a journal article, and it gives me all the correct formatting here. I put in author information, the ampersand, additional author information if need be, date of publication, title of the article, title of the journal, volume and page number, and my direct object identifier. If you don't have that, then we include in the URL. So that's the information. So when I go back and I actually decide to use one of these sources here, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to pick this source. So this source is actually going to open up for me in another page. So the information that I need will be loading for me. The title of my article is Current Challenges in Educational Research for Opioid Abuse Prevention. The title of the journal is Journal of Alcohol and Drug Education. The publication date is April 2017. I do not have any author information, so I'm going to have to skip that. When you don't have author information in an APA citation, you actually begin your citation with the title of the article here. And normally, again, it would be author and date and then the title, but we don't want to start a citation with date. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this information here. I'm going to go over. I'm going to paste it. I've got to change the formatting. So now I've got my formatting, but I've got this capitalization that I have to correct. So I'm going to change that because remember, we don't have random capitalization in APA, not like I won't say random, but in MLA they do call for capitalization of all primary words. APA doesn't. So I've got that. Now I actually need the title of the journal. So it's Journal of Alcohol and Education. So I'm going to go ahead. I can't copy that, so I'm going to type that in. Journal of Alcohol and Drug Education. So I'll type that in. It has to be italicized. Journal of Alcohol. Go back, and drug education. Now, I do need to include my publication date over here, so I'm going to go back over here and type in April, and I believe it was 2017. So I've got that information in there. Now I want to go back and just double check, go back to my source. I've got author information, I've got the date of publication, the title of the article, and the title of the journal. And then I can actually include the volume and edition information. When I go back here, if I don't see that readily available, I can actually look around for it, see if it's provided. I'm going to click and go to the article overview, and in the article overview it does tell me it's volume 61, number 1. And so again, to go back to, this is how I would put it in. 33, and then, so, going back, volume 61, number 1. So, put in my comma, take off my italics, and I might be mistaken on the information, but you guys get the feel of the information that needs to go there. Okay, so once I go back, I've got in my version and edition. If I have page numbers, I'll include that, and I do not have page numbers, so I can just move on. Now, I don't have a DOI, so when I don't have a direct object identifier, I'm actually going to put the retrieval information there. So I'm going to go back over here and see if I can actually retrieve that. Retrieved from, I'm going to type in my URL. I've got to take off that hyperlink. Okay, and there's my citation for that source. Now, technically, to make this look correct, you could actually break up the URL like this and backspace it to where it maybe would appear on the line prior to it. I just didn't break it up quite short enough. So it's kind of a process of elimination, and I've got to make sure that I've had my hanging indent on there, but I would take off my URL. So that's actually the way it should look. Again, I don't have these in alphabetical order, so I can fix that anytime by highlighting it and sorting it. Now, I threw in a random citation for you because I just wanted to make sure that I referenced to you guys. Oh, let me fix this. I wanted to make sure that I demonstrated to you guys that if you have a source that doesn't have an author on it, you make sure that you don't put that author information there. And I hope this helps you, at least get you started. Again, I recommend anytime you want to create a citation, you go back to the Purdue Online Writing Lab. The main thing is you just use the resources available to you and make sure you get as much information on there as you possibly can. It's more important to have more information than it is to have less. When I look at your reference page, I should have a general idea of where this source came from and where I could find it if I actually wanted to take a look at it. So again, I hope this helps. Please let me know if you have any questions.